This next segment is for parents and coaches. We love cheering on our kids, helping them play their best in whatever sport they choose, and sometimes we can get a little carried away. So today we're getting some tips on how to be a positive sports parent and coach. That's important too, okay? Here with more is Rik Anderson, the athletic director for the Boys and Girls Club of Elizabethton and Carter County. Brand new school year, lots of sports going on right now. Give us some tips on being a positive sports parent.
Well, you know, alarming statistic right now is 70% of all kids that start sports quit by the age of 13. So, you know, we need to be better role models for them.
Right.
We need to worry more about their having fun at a younger age, you know, not so much on just how well they do things, but the enjoyment of it so they can have a passion for the game. The number one reason that most kids quit nowadays is they quit having fun.
Right.
And the reason for that is the pressure they feel put on by coaches and parents.
And you know, I think it almost it's a trickle down effect. You see these huge contracts for professional players. You see these NIL deals for college players, and I think some parents are thinking, you know, down the road, I would love for my son or my daughter to be involved in that. And you can't think that way. Just take them out there and let them have some fun. That's
true, and you got to realize if you look at the numbers, 7% of high school kids make it to college.
Exactly.
2% is only in Division I, and then only a 2% of that make it to any kind of professional sports.
Right.
So the odds of your child, I hate to say this, but the odds of your child making it to that level is very rare. So you know, you need to focus on letting them have fun,
right,
let them learn the game, and you know, get the life lessons from it. You know, get you know, learning to play with other kids, learning disappointment. You know, that's part of failure, is part of growing up. You know, that's part of adulthood. You can't be successful all the time.
Right.
Understand that, you know, like in baseball, if you go to bat 10 times and you fail 7, you're a pretty good player.
Yeah.
You know, you're considered to be a pretty good player. So in basketball, take 10 shots, miss 6, you know, you're a real good shooter.
Anybody would love to shoot 40%.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt. So, you know, sometimes we get caught up on perfection.
Yes.
A lot of times as parents and coaches, you know, coaches are just as guilty too. And we forget about, you know, their development is so much important at that early age.
And, you know, I think some of us, you know, you get caught up in the moment sometimes, and I think sometimes people just kind of forget themselves.
Yeah, yes, they do. And you know, and like you said, you mentioned before, it's trickle down. You know, coaches, a lot of coaches set the tone. If they're hollering to officials or if they're hollering to kids, then the parents feel like maybe they need to get in there and help the coach by doing the same thing. And then what makes it worse, then the kids start to do it. And you know, we have a problem nowadays with, especially at the club and all the other youth areas, club areas, that getting officials. You know, it's hard for someone to come out there and take the abuse, basically, is what they do for the little amount of money that we can pay them. I know in the TLFAA, you know, getting calls all the time about, you know, lack of officials. We've even had to cancel games because they couldn't get officials to do it. So, you know, it's more than just the kids. It's the whole process, the whole program that's going on now. You know, is we need to hopefully turn that trend a little bit and be a little bit more positive with the kids and understand, you know, they're going to make mistakes, and if they're out there giving effort, you know, they're having fun, and that's the number one reason that kids say they have fun, is because they try to do their best. We as parents and coaches think it's winning. They did a survey, and winning was like 50 out of 100 was fun for the kids. Kids, they don't care whether they win or not, basically, when they're young. You know, it's we as coaches and we as parents to put more emphasis on that. Winning the tournaments and medals and trophies, that was way down like in the 70s of what they thought made it fun for them. So sometimes our perspective is not their perspective.
Just keep perspective, have some fun.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
And that's one of the best things I ever heard was, I read an article that said, if you don't know what to say as a parent, or ask the kid.
Yeah.
They'll tell you exactly what they would like to hear out there on the floor or on the field. That would make it enjoyable for them and make them even try even harder.
All right. So, Rik Anderson, we appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Folks, Boys and Girls Club of Elizabethton and Carter County, if you'd like to find out more about their programs and everything they've got going on there, we've got that information for you right there on the screen.